Hey, hello everybody. Welcome to Try the Goulash. My name is Blake.
It's Will.
And I'm Alex.
And today, episode 5. Been doing this over a month now.
Five.
Happy that you all have been hanging out with us during this journey. We've been having fun. Hope you've been enjoying the convos. And today, the topic is games.
Games? What kind of games? Like board games,
All
video
of them.
games?
Mind. All kinds.
Mind games.
Like
All
old Craig?
good.
Yeah, dude. All kinds of games. That's what we're talking about, boys. Did you guys prepare questions this week?
I have one.
What do you got? Let's just go.
All right. My question for you guys is, do you love me?
Is this a game of the heart?
Do you love me? Or are you playing those love games with me?
I love you,
Oh.
Al.
Do you love me? Are
I
you playing
already
those love
referenced-
games with me? Thanks,
I already
Will.
referenced old Greg, dude.
Yeah, thanks for the foreshadowing. We could have teamed up there.
Well, I win.
I love you.
All right.
First, better,
that's
best,
not my question.
me.
It's Will. All right, I will just...
I have several.
I have several. Like, I don't have them logged, but I can talk about this a lot.
All right. Do you guys remember? I'm gonna just go like old school. Do you guys remember the first game that you had? Like the first game that you played?
Are you talking...
Like what's the earliest? I'm talking board game, video game, anything.
any of
what's
it?
the
Oh my
earliest
God.
game you can
Okay.
possibly remember in your life?
All right.
Earliest.
The absolute earliest one I can remember. My parents took me to go see my grandparents, and while I was there, like me and my sister would run around their house and like play. And downstairs, my grandparents were fond of board games. And when people would come over, they would play games with them. And they had a running Monopoly game going on in the basement at all times. And that's like the first... But like I remember seeing... Monopoly. I remember
like
seeing
Monopoly,
it, and I didn't know what it was.
Way overrated board game.
I disagree with both of you. I think it's great. It's super time consuming.
Well, that's why it's
Have you
awful.
ever played a game of
Have you ever
Monopoly?
finished it? Have you ever finished a game of Monopoly? Sat down and played till...
One game.
It's my classic game. It's the one I remember. How many have you done? One.
It's the first board game I was exposed to. That was the first game.
I'm not hating on that. 'Cause
I mean,
that's
there-
like popular. That's
There's
like
Tic-Tac-Toe. That was probably pre-Monopoly for me.
everybody.
Tic-Tac-Toe.
Tic-Tac-Toe,
Yeah. Played that in school.
Yeah.
I guess.
Oh, Did you guys ever play this game? We're staying on the topic, but I'm going to go on a tangent. Did you ever play that game in school? We just called it dots. You would like make a grid of dots on a piece of paper, and you had to like you would make
Connect
a
a
line to
line.
one
I played
dot,
that maybe like fourth
and then the other
grade.
person would go, and if you made a box, you put your initial in it, and that was like 1 point.
That was like 9 years old.
Yeah,
That was a fun.
kinda
I used to play that a
complicated
lot.
for a kindergartner.
I'm just gonna throw out a game that I remember in my childhood. I don't know if this is the first I remember necessarily, but I remember this. You guys just Don't Wake Daddy ring a bell?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a great
Don't Wake
one.
Daddy.
I don't even
Where you
remember.
had to tick and you had
Remember
to
that?
push the button every time.
like,
I
sneak
never
around.
played it.
Yeah, great one. And if you
I
woke up,
remember
you
the
had to-
commercial though. Like there was like this.
It
Yeah,
was like
I
I remember that as well.
You remember
it? Was like
it, yeah.
It was like a real life.
Yeah, and
Don't
he was
Wake
wearing
Daddy.
this like nightcap, like this real life. Like the commercial was like live action,
Yes, it was
and he
funny.
would like sit up and he'd be like, ah. It was good.
Guys, I'm gonna throw.
Is that your first one, Al? Is that
No,
your...
but I remember playing that fondly.
Well, what's your first
great
one?
And well, the game that I think of, like if somebody were to ask me the question, what's the first game you remember? I always think of the first video game that I got because it was kind of like revolutionary in my life, and I think I
Sure.
was about 5
Sure.
or 6 when I got it. It was the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, the SNES, and I had Yoshi's Island.
Oh my god!
And
What
dude,
a game!
no, seriously, it was awesome.
That's awesome.
It was like a lot of just attachment to a storyline. As a young kid, like I kind of understood. I don't know. I felt like that game kind of helped me to understand how you progress from like easy to hard levels in a game, and it was just like miles beyond anything else that I had done at that point, because all the other games were like super shallow.
That's cool.
You know what I mean?
You actually just jogged my memory. I'm sorry, Will.
Super nostalgic. Like if I see characters from that game, I'm like, oh.
My first game was not tic-tac-toe. It was not Monopoly. My parents. We'll get into video games in a second, because we could have our own cast about video games. I could go on forever about it. My parents. I was 4. I was 4 years old. My parents had not a Super Nintendo yet. They had a Nintendo, like the NES, the OG.
Oh yeah, the one that had like the flip up.
Yeah,
And you
and
put the cartridge
and
in.
they had Mickey Mouse's Letter Hunt. And that was my
Mickey
first
Mouse?
game. They bought it for me.
Interesting.
Like my dad had games on the NES, but he bought the Mickey Mouse one for me.
Mickey
and
Mouse Letter Hunt.
He just would go out and get letters, and it's like a game built for 5-year-olds. Like you can't die.
That's good.
Like
That's awesome.
if a turtle hits you, you just like fall back and you just keep playing.
You can't die.
And my mom, I don't remember this, but my mom said I used to rage. Like she
You're
said
like,
I would throw the controller at like 4. I would just be like, I'm done with this.
Not much has changed.
Not at all. Will, what you got?
Well, mine is completely different to both yours. Do you guys... I have 2 in particular that I remember. And for some reason, I have a memory of playing these at my aunt's house. I'm pretty sure. She had the best toys ever. But you guys remember... I believe it was called Don't Spill the Beans.
Don't spill the beans.
It sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Was there something like suspended
Yeah.
with beans? Or
Yes,
am
I
just
don't
making
really
that up?
remember all
Is
the
it
whole
like
concept.
a barrel?
Yes,
bucket
we may have
of
to,
jam?
right
we may
now.
have to look
A
this
can
up,
of beans.
but I remember playing that. In another game, I don't remember what it was called, but there was like a pair of pants, and it was almost like a bucket, like the shape of a bucket.
Dude, ants
And
in the
you-
pants.
Is you where you had the grasshoppers?
Ants in the pants,
yeah,
dude. Ants in the pants. I had that game.
the grasshoppers, and you would fly them into the pants. That
Yeah,
game
that was fun.
great.
That was a good
Great
time.
game.
Did you ever play that, Al?
What is it?
My
called?
mom
Ants in the
still
Beans?
has that. I played this weekend with my nephew.
It was like it's like a pair of plastic blue jeans.
Yes, this is it.
Is that it? Don't
Yes.
spill the beans.
Yeah, so I don't remember the exact concept, but you had this like barrel, and you would have to like balance the beans on top of it, and if it got too heavy and you spilled the beans,
Oh,
you
no.
Oh, how
So,
clever!
yeah.
Have you guys seen that game that's out now? Doggy Doo.
yeah.
No, it sounds dumb.
It's so, dude, the commercial for it is hilarious, though. I thought it was a joke when I saw it first, and then
Is
my
it?
cousin got it for Christmas
to-
one year.
Have to
When
do
you-
with poop.
Yeah, it has to do with doggy.
Doggy
doo.
doo doo.
Yeah, it's literally you like, I don't even know. You like spin something and then you like squeeze the leash of the dog, and it like shoots air through the dog's butt, and like eventually a piece of pulls out.
What? And then you win if it's.
Yeah, I don't know if you win or lose. I don't know if you want to get on or if you
I don't
you
know.
don't want to get.
I don't know the
I mean-
rules, but I'm gonna act like when the dog you win. That's what I'm gonna say in my head.
Yes.
Sure, I don't know. It's just a weird game. I think it's funny.
It's
Yeah.
funny.
Anyway, what's is that the end of that question?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm just gonna ask my second question. You guys, I
Follow
go
up.
first.
What
Let's
you
do
got?
this. We're gonna go from first game you can remember to adult game, not sexual. Maybe we'll get there later. But I actually am gonna talk
Handcuffs.
about drinking games.
Oh,
I'm gonna ask you like
okay.
what your classic drinking game in
Okay.
college was. But then also, I just want to talk about the idea of drinking games in general after
Sure.
we do that.
That sounds great.
Okay.
Can we do that?
Well, I know.
It was Pong, dude.
Pong?
It was Pong.
Yeah,
It
for
was,
sure. I
Like,
think that's me too.
Like, I feel like Pong
Taboo.
is like the OG drinking game.
It's a classic. Like it's
There was probably
definitely-
drinking. I'm in my mid-20s. That's probably not the OG drinking game, but for me it is.
I don't know.
Like that's like the
It's
staple.
definitely
Like
a hefty
if you went to a party in college
presence.
and there wasn't Pong, like it was like, what's going on here? Like
Yes.
Pong was the game.
You gotta at least have a table. Like,
Yeah,
if you're
and it was
hosting a party.
and like not only was it the staple, it was my favorite. Like I love playing beer pong.
active.
It's so fun.
Semi-athletic.
Yeah, it is a little bit. Like you gotta
gotta have
have
somewhat.
a
Semi-
little bit
You
of
have to have
skills.
coordination.
have some dexterity.
Okay.
Some
Hand-eye.
coordination.
There you go.
Yes. What was
Yeah.
yours?
No, it was Pong. We
one.
had a table.
Yours was
Well,
Pong as
had-
well, Al?
That's. I feel like that's everyone's answer, and
Was
it's
that yours,
fun.
Will?
Well, the game that we always played, we never played beer pong unless like we had a ton of people over.
Okay.
But we always played connections.
Connections.
Every-
Out of here.
it's
You
the
should-
worst
I'm not
game
trying to
ever.
play that
Describe the game to the
Okay,
audience.
so you
I've been to
connections, you however many people you have, you,
You
deal
get a
out the
fifth,
whole,
and you just drink half of
you
it.
just
Chug it. Take it to the face.
basically. No, but you deal out the whole entire deck. Whoever's to the dealer's left, they go first. They lay their card down. If then the next person lays their card down, who's on that gentleman or lady's left, and
Hopefully
if
it's a
those
lady.
two cards connect in suits, color, or if they're like the same number,
What if they're
you
both
drink.
cards?
What?
What if they're both cards? Is that a connection?
Cards of what?
The same deck.
What? Get the f- out of here, Blake.
I'm confused.
Yeah, just shut up. But
silly.
basically, if the cards connect with suits or number or color, like I said, you drink that number and face value cards, 10 drinks. So you get
Like
up.
count. So like if you have
Yeah.
a 4, it's just like 1, 2, 3, 4.
But
you're
the
done
person
drinking.
on the person on the right of the right.
Okay.
What?
That makes no sense.
I don't
but
think anybody
I'm
can
imagining this
audibly-
in our little triangle.
You're fine.
I'm counting right now.
That person leads?
Yes.
I gotcha.
So whoever is not connected and is on the right of the pair of two people
Counts.
that are connected, yeah, counts.
So it goes, let's just say
Yes.
it goes clockwise. Whoever is behind
yeah, and
the active party's drinking counts.
yes. So if you have 3 people,
It's a
show.
show.
Just be connecting, and that's basically it. Was either 3 or 4 people who I usually played it with, and by the time we got our first drink at the bar, I was
Feeling nice.
I would say so. You might as well just like look each other in the eye, and just chug a drink, like just be like, "We're getting up. Let's do this." Why even play
Party.
the cards? Do you want to shuffle
that's
this?
the game
No.
we always played. Probably my favorite game. I have 2, and this goes back to the first college I went to. I went to a college for a year and a half. Played soccer there, and then transferred to another university. And at this first
Yeah.
college that I went to,
Shout out.
the first college, we played a game called Landmines.
Oh yeah, landmines.
It's fun. It's a very fun game. You basically
messed up playing that
yeah,
too.
You have a coffee
Chugging.
table for a group of people to play on, and you have a community cup. And you need a community cup and a quarter, and everyone needs alcoholic beverages or soda. Yeah, soda. No,
Soda,
I normally play
Pop.
with beer.
Is it like
and-
Battleship?
No,
Like, is that
no.
Coke,
Just give me
So
the gist of
the
it.
quarter, you pour yourself a drink,
Coke.
and you have to spin the quarter. When the quarter is spinning, you have to finish whatever is in that drink.
Okay.
You have to finish your drink before the quarter stops spinning. You have to put your cup down and pick up the quarter. If it's
Ooh.
still spinning and you pick it up, you pass it to the next person.
Okay.
However,
That's kind of fun.
if the quarter stops spinning while you're drinking, you have to pour yourself another drink and go again. So you can, but here's the best part about it. If I'm drinking a beer and I have a beer can and I finish that beer, that is now a landmine. If I want to over Blake,
I see.
and he
You put it
spins
on the
his
table.
quarter and he says, this is going to be a really simple drink, I can put that on top of the quarter.
And if the beer can,
That beer can stays there the rest of the game. So
that's nice.
later rounds, it gets really hard.
That's fun.
And you
That
can
sounds
get
like a
really
fun
drunk. Yeah, that one's very
When I
fun.
think about college games, all games broke down into like two categories for me. One category was like fun game that you like sip a beer with, and the other category of game was like
Chug.
you're getting hammered.
Yeah.
Like, and I hated the second category of game because there never seemed to be a point.
It's kind of funny.
Like-
That's what I wanted to talk about. Like,
Connections,
the idea of
Connections is
drinking-
like that game was
like
like
race
let's
to
just
get
get
drunk
hammered.
first. Yeah.
Pong was more like let's play a game
more-
and sip a drink.
It's
It's
the
a
easiest to
social.
like not even have to drink to. Like,
Yeah.
you can just play it.
yeah, you just like
Here-
have water. Yeah,
Basically in college, we generally wouldn't go to like a house party. We would either like have a group of guys over or just like a small group to the house, and we would just pregame college. Yeah, pregame.
We gotta get drunk before we get
Got some
drunk.
protein shakes.
Dad.
Push on.
But yeah, it would basically like someone would come over and we would drink for like an hour. Like it wasn't more of like a party,
Yeah.
social.
I mean,
That's my college.
That's
what
common.
I remember.
yeah,
There's
that's
always a pregame of
that's
some
super
sort.
common. I mean,
But-
people want to get drunk and they don't want to pay
Yeah.
money.
Sometimes you
at the
pregame by
bar.
yourself.
Boom
You just
Cu-
take shots in
Boom
your
Cup
kitchen
is also very very
Do
fun.
every day.
before work.
With a group. That's like a more social,
What?
I guess, drinking game. Boom Cup.
Boom Cup?
That
Boom Cup.
that's my follow up to Pong.
It's
That was
fun.
my
What's Boom Cup? Is that
second
like Flip
favorite
Cup?
game.
No,
I didn't like
It's-
Flip Cup.
I did. Flip Cup is just like too quick. Number one.
That's weird because there's a big Flip Cup following, but
I
we
know there
didn't do
is.
it. That
In
I didn't
college,
either.
I at UC almost said the,
University.
almost said the
Yeah.
name of the university at our college we went to. Flip Cup
Blake
was
and
probably number 2 to Pong. It was.
Yeah, no,
it was
I
close.
mean,
I
I
mean,
know
it's
it's, like,
super
popular.
popular.
And people played it at my school, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I like never played.
Boom Cup consisted of a bunch of solo cups. You had a ping pong ball, and you had to bounce with one bounce. You
Wait.
had to bounce the ping. I mean, this is the gist of the
Yeah.
game. You have to bounce the ping pong ball into the cup in one motion, but it gets harder because every cup you make, you stack on
Oh,
another
yes.
And you have
Yeah.
solo
I've-
cup.
you start with 2 cups on
That's
I don't
right.
get
opposite
that game.
corners.
That's confusing.
And
It's
you
fun.
have like
The
as
drunker
many
you get, you're like,
yeah,
ah,
as
what?
many community cups like in the middle.
Yeah.
As like the more the better, even if it's a big group.
So for-
and then everyone pours their beers in the cups, and then there's a cup where it's full and it's a mixture
Mixed.
of everything, and that one goes last.
Yeah.
So for the audience listening, like this game gets harder because you eventually end up with like 10 solo cups stacked on each other. So you have like a tower and you're trying to bounce this one ping pong ball with a lot of inertia so it goes up and into this big tower thing. It's pretty fun.
It is fun.
It's pretty fun.
yeah.
What was your favorite, Al? You haven't answered.
I mean, the classic was Pong. We played a lot of card games because I would usually just go to like smaller house parties, and we would often be at a table and playing card games. So we would play like F You Pyramid.
That's a great one.
Yeah, and it's just a good excuse to be able to call out your friends and just say F you. You get to say F a lot, and saying F is fun. Especially when you know that the more times that you say F, it's that many more times that Blake has to edit F out
I
and
hate you,
put in
dude.
chicken
That's all I'm
noise
thinking of.
and chicken noises.
Stop.
Okay.
That whole
And
thing you just said is
then
going to be
once
one
again-
long chicken. It's just going to be like. So
Okay.
Pong.
Anyway, yeah, Pong. But yeah, no, I really just wanted to bring up the topic of drinking games because I think it's a weird
That's like a subgenre
phenomenon
of games.
in our country. I mean, I guess it is in other countries too, but honestly, when I have been abroad, it's not so much. Like a lot of other countries just kind of drink casually and socially, and they don't really have many drinking problems. And anytime I've been on a pub crawl, like in Europe, me and my friends would always win Pong
That's
because
cool.
nobody else knew how to play Pong. Like
That's fun.
Americans. Anyway, it's still a phenomenon in American where it's whether it's good or bad that we play drinking games. It's like almost like a distraction to the fact that we're all just like getting hammered,
It's
just like poisoning
It's
ourselves.
a reason to
Like, let's-
drink alcohol.
Let's make festivities around intoxicating and like numbing our brains and
It's kind of
bodies.
silly.
It is silly. It's fun. I mean, I do it. I don't judge people that do it, but
Yeah.
I also just think it's funny that, for instance, Pong, since we've talked about Pong, when you're playing Pong, you take drinks when the other team when the other team makes it in your cup. So when the other team succeeds, you have to drink. But it's funny because it's like, why are we all here? We're all here playing these games to
Yeah.
get drunk. Why do you
need a
drink
game?
whenever you succeed? So like the people that do well get more drunk, and then you just
Yeah.
know who is the man because they're the
Because they're
drunkest.
hammered.
You don't make the loser drink.
It's a
Make
weird.
the loser not drink. Make
a
the
weird-
loser stay sober.
That would make it more
That'd be
interesting
funny.
because if you played better, you would have to drink more, which means over
would even it
time
out.
you would play worse.
It would even it out.
That would be more
Everybody
fun.
would have more fun.
Yeah.
Drinking games. There you go.
All right.
What
Okay.
was your guys's? So I know we're all fans of video games here. What's like your like top ones? Like, give me your like throwback favorite video games. I can go if you want to think about it, because I got mine locked down hard.
What, do you want like 3 answers? Top of
Will's
mind?
ready.
Yeah.
How many answers you want? I got
mean, you
20. I got a
can.
list of
I'll-
20. I got a list of 40.
I'll just start. So, like, with Al's first question, my parent, like, I was like, I was born in the very, very early 90s, which was like the dawn of, like, video games were just getting up and going around this time. And like I mentioned before, my dad was a fan of playing video games. So I grew up, like, I literally, from like a toddler, grew up playing video games. Like, I had the Mickey Mouse game. And from like then on out until now, I'm still playing video games.
Because parents just were like, nah, we're not trying to fuck with this. So
I mean,
how about you just look at the screen
I can't even
and
say
hold this thing?
I can't even say I blame them. Like, it's a great babysitter. It's a great one. So, I've had every Nintendo system growing up as a kid. Like, I had the NES and then I had the Super NES. The Super NES has one of my favorite games. I have like
What is it?
I have like
Punch Out?
3 favorite games.
That's a great one.
Punch Out was fun. No,
Back,
it's Super Metroid. Super Metroid for the NES. It's just a classic. Like, there's a great story. It was fun. I've never played a game like it before. It was like immersive when I played it. Like, I felt like I was Samus Aran, the protagonist in the
Samus!
Ooh, she's hot.
but yeah, it was great. So I grew up playing that, and then like when I was playing the Super Nintendo, I was still a kid. Like, it was me trying to figure out the controls and playing a little bit, and then my dad playing a lot, kind of thing. And then I got older. I don't remember how old I was. I was probably like 8 or 9, and I had my 8th or 9th birthday, and then I got the Nintendo 64. My own. This was like my first console to myself, and it was money. It was so much money.
That's great.
What?
Console.
Yep.
A
Yep.
fantastic piece of equipment.
Yeah.
Like, it seriously is. If
A
you're listening,
technological wonder.
like, this was the step from 8-bit and like 16-bit 2D games into 3D. Like, this was a big deal into 64 bits. It was huge. It was a big deal. Like, we didn't have 3D games before this. And I had all the classics on the 64. I had the first Super Smash Brothers, which I remember. Do you guys...
I suck at that one.
Do you remember this? I don't know why this sticks out to me so much, but like I remember being a kid before I had the first Super Smash Bros. I remember the commercial on the TV. Do you guys remember that at all? No. Like it was
incoherent.
This is how it started out. It was like the Nintendo characters walking in a field, like you saw like Mario, but it was live action. It was people in like suits. You saw like Mario walking in a field, and there's like Yoshi and Samus, and like all of them were there. And as a kid, like I had grown up on the Nintendo and the Super Nintendo, and I saw this commercial, and I was like, "Holy! What the hell? All of these characters are in one place." And then they're walking in this field, and they slowly start like beating up on each other. And I was like, and then it cuts to like the actual game, and I was like, "Holy shit! I gotta have this game. I need it." It was amazing. Anyway,
and if I wanted to molest you, I could
Are
do
you
it
gonna
right
go
now.
through every year of your life,
You got a
dude?
pretty mouth.
Okay, I'll cut to the scene.
You got a pretty mouth.
I had Ocarina of Time on the 64.
Great one.
Okay.
I'm looking for a very specific answer though, coming out of your mouth.
I know my number one
Coming
game.
out of your mouth.
I had Ocarina of Time, Zelda game. It was a classic. Guys, you remember as a kid how we had like imagination? Like you could like go in the backyard and play with it, like grab a stick and you like thought it was a sword. I had that while I was playing video games, and after I beat Ocarina of Time, I would just like run around in the video game and like hang out. And it sounds super depressing, but like I remember that. Like I'd be like, I'm gonna go climb this mountain today.
I'm really Link. I know my name's Blake, but I'm Link.
So I played Ocarina of Time about a couple years after Ocarina of Time came out. Majora's Mask came out, which is another follow-up Zelda game on the 64. Majora's Mask is my all-time favorite game ever. The story is incredible. It's dark. It has to deal with like death and stuff, and it was like the most goth Zelda game that came out, and I loved it. Now, Majora's Mask is probably my favorite game. Right under that is Super Metroid, and right under that, I got a little bit older. I got an Xbox. Halo 2 came out on the Xbox. That was my number 3.
Coagulation map.
I'm putting the mic down.
Multiplayer.
I'm done.
Top 3.
Do you guys remember that?
Yeah, it was
Multiplayer,
amazing.
Halo 2 Coagulation. That map.
Yeah,
it was
the
just
long
like
one.
a big valley.
Yes,
It was just like a base at either side.
Halo 2 was
You had
like
ghosts and banshees. It was nuts. I tell you what, if I had to be like lost in a video game, you know, like a game mode, and like a certain specific place, that would be one that I'd be like, well, all right. If I just got to like dick around on ghosts.
Yeah, I mean, that game, the Halo 2 was my favorite just because it was the first like real shooter I played, and it was the very first online game I played, and it was
That was one of my first like social games.
Yeah,
and honestly, for me, the peak of my gaming, as far as video games are concerned, the peak of my gaming experience. Gaming was socially, like whenever I was most social with my gaming, which was probably high school.
Yeah, it was early high school. It was get home, throw my backpack in the corner, get the on Halo 2. That's what it was.
Hey, yeah, okay. See, for me, it was Call of Duty World at War.
It's a good one.
I could talk about this for hours. I'm putting the mic down.
Yeah,
tell me about it.
I think we should have like a video game cast.
Let's
Like,
talk about some
specifically-
now.
Yeah.
Little teaser.
Specifically, like we just lay down like 3 consoles and we talk about our favorite games. We do it.
God,
Give
we
it
could
to
talk
me.
about this for
Yeah.
hours.
We could. All right, we'll save
Okay.
this for another cast, but we'll kind of kiss it in this one. Hey, baby.
Okay, top 3.
Ow, those are sexual.
Okay,
yeah, you
this
wish
is
you had
like
that.
one of the first games I remember playing. and I believe it was on the SNES. Battletoads.
Oh, dude, that game is hard as.
Hard as
played
but oh my gosh, it is so fun.
Is
It's
it
a,
like
it's
Frogger?
a side scroller beat 'em up.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, fuck
You remember
yeah.
like the side scroller Ninja Turtle games?
Yeah.
It's like that, but way harder.
Sometimes
shoot.
you're on like a bike, like a little. It was like almost a hoverboard bike.
That's a hard one, Will.
Yeah.
You were raised on Battletoads?
I played. That was
Jesus
one of the
Christ.
That's why
first.
you're such
I was
a
raised
virgin
on
today.
Mickey.
The thing, one of my neighbors had that game for some reason, and I remember playing it like before I was in kindergarten, probably.
Oh my gosh, throwback.
But I would say like favorite childhood, and I would probably rate this number 2 because I played it so much as a kid.
What you got?
James Bond, GoldenEye.
Oh my!
64.
I'm gonna say
That,
something.
that was my first shooter I've
good
ever
game.
played. That was so fun.
I had all the classics on the 64. Didn't have James Bond.
James Bond.
I don't have that nostalgia. Like
I didn't
you
have it
do.
either, but my friends did, and I played
James-
it.
None of my friends had it.
My brothers, like, it was there in 64, but I got to play it as well.
Okay.
And I remember my brothers getting that, and it was like a big deal.
It was talk of the house.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we just played so much James
That's awesome.
Bond.
That's great. I
We would
love
play
that
like
for you.
split screen, like all 4
Oh
brothers.
yeah.
I think James Bond
and
was like one of the OG.
We would
like,
specifically play
multiplayer
proximity
shooters.
mines.
I don't know what that
So
is.
you would like walk around, and if you got a proximity mine, you could like throw it on the wall,
Okay.
and it was basically like a claymore, like
Oh,
a
right.
Like
more
it would-
secret
it would
claymore.
go off
Yeah,
if
like when you
someone
walked by, you
That's
got,
fun. So you guys were just walking around like on eggshells.
Yes.
You were just like, oh god.
Yep.
Did you guys play Nightfire for like PS2?
Yeah, that was a good one.
I like
Nope.
that one a lot.
I'm gonna go 4 because that was like early childhood gaming.
That's your 4. Are
yeah.
you counting down?
Yeah, I'm going 4. No, I'm going up.
What you got, Will?
And then I would say I had, out of all the game systems I've owned, PS2, I had the most games.
Dude, PS2, shout out!
I had
a few.
Sony.
so
Had a
many
few.
games.
PlayStation 2.
So many games for that game.
Yeah,
I had a
same.
few.
Console.
Same.
Wasn't
Did
huge into Sony.
Did you ever play Sega Soccer Slam?
No, I
It's a
didn't.
mouthful. It's just like a soccer slam.
I did
Sega
not.
Soccer Slam. Please bring that back. The creators of that game, bring that back.
Yeah, not sponsored Sega. You need to do it though.
But I played so much of this. They're no longer even a series, but the MLB series. for
Yeah.
the
That was fun.
PS2.
There's
That
no
was
big.
fun.
There's no good baseball.
They have
games.
well,
I
they
had
have
some of those.
MLB the Show.
Did you guys
on
ever play
PS.
Slugfest?
Oh yeah!
Slugfest was very
I
fun.
love Slugfest.
Slugfest was great.
Even
Hell yeah.
throwing it back even further, Red Card, it was like Slugfest.
don't know
but
it.
Really?
Soccer, yeah.
I would have
Wow.
loved that.
You played
That
it.
would've been sick.
That
Like
sounds
one of the
awesome.
challenges I remember playing. You played against Dolphins.
FIFA Raw.
I love that.
Yeah.
They just like make it weird.
Dolphins.
Yes, but going to number 1, like most enjoyable, greatest experience, like probably the most hours I've ever played, has to go to the Xbox 360.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, no, me too. Because
I mean, that was like
that was high school.
Skyrim.
Oh my god! Yes.
Favorite. So
Holy sh- I don't know how I left that out.
that like still to this day, like I still own my 360, and I could go back and play that game. And just
Was
get
that
lost
post high
for-
school?
Yeah,
that was like
like my freshman,
early
sophomore
college.
that
year
was
of college.
dude. That
yeah.
was
Early college.
I
that was
played
amazing.
that game multiple times.
That was amazing. Holy hell!
So
That's a great one.
So
I didn't.
great.
I didn't play it.
It like
I didn't
even
buy it. I never played
You
it.
missed
like,
out.
I know. Maybe
the
one day.
whole
I
that
would
was
get
like one of
lost.
the yeah.
lose
I would
my
get
legs, I'll
lost in
buy
that
it.
game.
Like I played Zelda as well. Well, I didn't play it. I watched my brothers play it.
Yeah,
And I've dabbled with Ocarina.
that was great. That was great.
But Skyrim was like one of the first like really really big open world.
Whenever we were
games that I
playing
played.
Skyrim, that was like we had graduated through the ranks of video games. Like we were full-fledged adult video gamers at that time.
We're
And,
smart. Our brains
Yeah,
are complex.
like we were
can play.
we were ready for the big boy games, and
Yes.
that was fun. Al,
And
what's
that's
yours?
number one.
What do you got?
What's my what?
What's your games?
Top 3,
What?
top 4, top 5.
What's
Can
your
you go
video
5?
games, bro?
My video games?
Yeah.
Is that what we've been talking about?
Yeah.
I blacked out. I just came to. What's going on?
You want to
God,
make
you
out?
playing too much Pong?
Video games?
Connections?
Okay, so
World at War.
favorite World of War has to be up there as far as just
That,
time played
I didn't have it.
and just the peak.
Oh
It was
my
happening during the peak of my video game existence. Because honestly, like I've definitely come down. Like I don't play video games except for with you guys. Like I
The
never play
OG.
video games without you guys, because you guys like it.
The OG zombies.
That's a
Oh
good one.
gosh,
It's great.
yeah, World of
Great
War
times.
Zombies. I loved that.
I didn't
For
play
so many
that.
reasons. It was like a social outlet for me when I was in high school. I was a recluse and just like to go home in my room and talk to people virtually as we killed like zombies and Nazis and stuff.
I didn't know what zombies was until in college. I didn't play that until
Really?
college.
Yeah, no, that was like my
You're
sophomore,
a
junior
noob.
year in high school.
You are a loser.
Yeah, you are. a
No.
noob. But anyway,
No.
so that's up there. It's hard to choose a favorite. I think Mario Kart as
A whole?
as a series,
That's
like
a
as
good
a,
one.
as
That's-
a
I'll
like,
take that.
franchise
I'll
of
take it.
games, is probably one of my favorite as far as like the most I've played over any console. I played that on SNES. I played in
That was
64.
great. Did you play Double
I
Dash on the
played
cube?
Double Dash on the cube.
Oh my
I tore
God.
up.
In
That
60
was
That might
one
have
of
been my prime.
I think that was one of my
Double
favorites.
Dash, yeah, and then I played Wii, Mario Kart. I played a ton of that in
good.
college,
That's
early
good.
college, and then Wii U, Mario Kart. I mean, I'll take anybody except Jacob.
He's
won,
good.
Who won yesterday?
He's good.
Who
won yesterday?
We tied.
Will and I
We
tied.
tied.
Will, that should be like in your like record books. Like that
Yeah,
should
that
be
should
a title. The day
Out of
I
the group,
tied Al.
out of the group, Al's the best, but
For
Will
sure.
tied him yesterday.
He
For
did.
sure, he claims his.
sure.
I called it too. I was like, I'm gonna win. I lost like the first 2 races, and I was like, it doesn't matter. We have 3 more left. I'm gonna win, and I tied Will. He surprised me.
Maybe we'll try
Yeah.
round.
Anyway,
2.
so Mario Kart's up there.
Ow. I just had a really random memory.
I am
What,
so like nostalgic with Yoshi, but what?
what was that game?
Yeah,
the
throw it.
Burger King game that you had for the 360?
Dude, Burger King Pocket Bike
Yes.
Race. I tell you what, anybody on the planet, I don't give a who you are.
Oh my god!
If you're out there right now and you've played this game on Xbox 360, Burger King Pocket Bike Racer, it cost like $1 or $3 or something at Burger King for a while, for like 6 months.
I know
You
what you're
remember that?
talking about.
They released like 3 games.
It was like a Happy Meal kind of thing.
Guys.
There was like Stalk King or whatever, and you just like hide and seek.
Burger King
hide
was
and
just
seek
like,
King.
hey, we want to give out these games as like a Happy Meal thing.
It was
but
clever.
They're just going
It
to be
was-
sh-
They
and
were
easy to produce.
But
Guys.
there was one that was a racing game, and they had like 6 tracks, and it was Burger King Pocket Bike Racer. And I tell you what, if you've played it before and you think you're hot, come and get me.
Oh my god, that's a
I don't
threat.
care. I know all the shortcuts. I'm the best. I've never lost.
Yeah.
All right,
Let's play. Tell you what, I will place higher bets on that matchup than I would on a racquetball match. And you guys know how much of an asshole I am about racquetball.
Yeah.
Let's
World
go.
at War, Yoshi's Island, and BK Pocket Racers. Let's
That's
do
it.
baby.
All right, moving on.
Okay, enough of video games, guys.
goodness.
Tell me about lawn games.
Lawn games?
What lawn
Well,
games
you-
do you like?
You just stole my question.
I like
Blake.
to count
It's
the
mine.
grass.
What's your favorite?
You're an asshole.
What's your
Whoa,
favorite?
wait. I got one more comment to end all video games. And
Sorry,
this
dude.
is just gonna be for us
You can't talk.
3. Our favorite video game should be Eat Lead.
Oh!
And I'll leave it right there, boys. Okay, lawn games.
We'll get into that story another time.
Lawn games.
The first lawn game I ever played, my dad built a set of ladder / hillbilly golf. And me and
hillbilly golf.
dude, it was so much fun. Me and Holly used to play that in the summer. That was the first lawn game I ever played. and it was a lot of fun. I wouldn't say it's my favorite, but it's probably nostalgic lawn game for me because I was playing
Okay.
that when I was like 14.
Nice. I didn't come into that until like later in life.
It was
But it's
fun.
fun. We had washer tournaments in my
Okay.
family.
All right.
So I've always been into washers. And I'm talking about the washers that is a box made out of a sheet of plywood and 2x4s that make a box about 18 inches square. I don't know what the official, maybe it's 2 feet. I don't think it's that big. I think it's 18 inches by 18 inches. Anyway, whatever it is, maybe 20 by 20. And then it had a PVC in the very middle. And if you made it in the box, it was 1 point. If you made it in the PVC, it was 3 points. And we always had tournaments in my family, on both sides of my family, actually. But we haven't done it for a while. Maybe you should suggest that for the next gathering. Anyway, what's yours, Will?
Lawn games. I mean, right now, obviously, cornhole.
Oh, baby.
I mean, that's
It's fun.
That's probably the best.
But
bags.
you got
Bags,
this is
cornhole, whatever you
Have
call
you ever
it.
played a game called?
We should explain that because probably some people listening don't know
Cornhole.
what that is.
Okay, it's
That might be like, I don't know if that's an American thing or like what the deal is.
you basically have a board.
There's two boards. They're probably like 15 feet apart from each other. The boards are on an angle, so they're slanted. So
20 feet.
If you put a ball on the top of the board, it would roll off. And in like the top middle of the board, there's a hole.
Is that like a 15-degree angle?
Yes,
Yep.
and
And go for it, Will.
I mean, 2 teams of 2, and you have 4 bean bags. You're trying to make it in the hole. If you make it in the hole, that's 3 points. If you make it on the board, that's 1 point.
The whole objective is just throwing these like slightly
Yes.
like what they're like 2 pounds, 2-pound bags of beans.
No
or
way.
lighter
It's
than
like
that. It's like-
0.75
yeah.
pound.
All right,
say
they're not 2 pounds.
A
Everybody.
pound if.
Yeah.
Okay, you're throwing these slightly weighted things and trying to get them to land and not slide off of this board. That's the whole game, and it's a point
You
system.
want to get it in the hole.
You
Yeah.
get you get more points if you get it in the hole because it's a harder shot. If you get on the board, you get less points, but it's all a point.
It's like washers, but
It's fun. It's a lot of fun.
But have you guys ever played yard darts?
I haven't. Lawn darts?
I haven't, and aren't those
No,
illegal
yard
now?
darts. Maybe.
in the United States.
You
'Cause
basically-
I think some kids got killed.
I don't know. What? They're not that sharp.
You know the big ones I'm
didn't
talking
hear
about.
about this in the
throw
Yeah,
it up?
you would like toss them underhand, and they weren't like super sharp. They would just like pierce the ground and go like an inch deep, if.
Yeah.
But you had like a little small hula hoop, and that was
Okay.
like what you were aiming
That's
for.
kind of that sounds like a good time.
And
That's your dogs running around the yard.
yeah, and you would just throw them to aim to get in the hula hoop, and kind of like it was similar to like horseshoes, but with yard darts.
All right, you guys ready for one of the best yard games? And it's old.
I bet you're gonna. Can I guess what you're gonna say?
Go for it.
What the crochet?
Nope.
Croquet.
Croquet.
Nope.
Crochet.
Dude, I play croquet.
Croquet's
I
fun.
love
Croquet's fun.
Anyway.
It's badminton. Badminton is
Badminton.
my
I love
love
badminton.
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 Will you hit my shuttlecock?
Slap your shuttlecock around, big boy.
If you're listening, you don't know, there is a net,
Or
2 teams
my
of 2.
birdie?
People have rackets, and there's a little.
They're long and skinny.
It's called a shuttlecock, and it's kind of like a top-heavy dart.
You can like smack it, and it'll go like really fast for like 2 feet, and then it goes really slow.
Yeah,
It's like,
it goes really fast, and then it's top-heavy, so it dies off, and it nose dives, and the other team hits it back and forth. It's kind of like
magical.
volleyball, if you know anything about volleyball. It's a good one.
Volleyball.
It's a
I
good
love
one.
it.
It's a good one.
You,
Yeah.
we,
I mean, if I could go back and just create a sport, I wish I could. Like a lawn sport.
If you could be like the guy
a-
that did golf.
Yeah,
if
like
you were
a,
like the
a
guy.
lifetime sport. I wish I could
I invented golf. You're welcome.
create a.
Did you guys take lifetime sports in high school?
I took outdoor ed.
That was like you.
I just no. Did I? Because I just
both
fished
of
all
those-
day.
Yeah, both of those classes were very.
I made fishing lure and fished and watched hunting videos of turkeys getting decapitated. It was dope.
We're from a midwestern state.
Yay! Yeah!
Yeah.
I've edited these videos. I'm talking to the audience right now. I've edited my videos and I've listened back to all of our voices. I've lived where I live so long that I don't know if we have southern accents.
We're not southern.
We're not southern, but like I've had people in my life tell me I have a little twang.
Dab with
No,
a little.
you do. I've been.
And I can't hear it, but if you can, comment or something, because I'm curious.
We all have a
have-
draw.
Yeah,
For
we
sure.
totally do because
Will's the worst. I'm probably second.
I remember when we
Yeah.
were on one of our trips in high school.
everyone. If I'm ever like somewhere for a week solid,
Yeah!
I go. Yeah, I go on a trip every like summer in August every year for the past 3 years. For work, and everyone always they're like,
They say you
your
got a
accent,
twang.
like
That's
yeah.
funny, man.
And specifically, most of them are like volunteers, and they're like older ladies, and they always are
funny.
commenting
That's
on
great.
They
it.
know.
Yeah.
That's great.
They're
I
just
can't.
like-
I mean, we live here, so I can't hear it if
I
we have
totally
one.
not.
Anyway.
Anyway, so long games, yes,
Yeah.
guys. What do you think about entertainment games of the
Can
past?
All right, Blake. You're just gonna ask how many questions? 3?
Go for it. What's your question?
No, I don't want to ask
What's an
anymore.
entertainment game?
I'll tell you. It's the Colosseum in Rome.
What?
In Rome.
Gambling, then.
No, I'm talking the Colosseum. Entertainment games.
Entertainment games.
Fight to the
gambling.
death. Lions.
What do I think about that? I think it's f***ed up.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's interesting that it happened in human history, and therefore, I guess that's maybe like a positive in my personal life. I'm like, well,
Didn't have
that
to live
happened,
through
and
that.
that's kind of interesting. So
now,
that's
most of the
stimulating.
people that had to fight to the death,
But it's f***ed up for the people that had to do it.
most of the people that had to fight to their death probably didn't want to do it. What if they did? Would you watch it then?
You mean, are you talking about like what's that fighting show we watched? Rough and Rowdy.
Yeah. What if it's like UFC? What if it's like UFC fighting, but it's the Colosseum? Would you watch it?
Would I watch a guy fight a lion?
Yeah, of
That's
course, yes.
that's
That-
messed
but,
up.
Yeah.
I'd rather watch that than
It's
see that
entertainment.
guy shoot up a bunch of kids in a school.
Well, of course. What?
That's
but
what if that guy's just trying to be like famous for being like
the problem with
intense,
fighting.
I'd rather him like fight a lion and destroy his own life than kill other
The
people.
problem with fighting a lion is you can't talk to the lion, so you don't know if the lion wants to do it. But like, what if two
yeah,
guys?
that asshole
What
wants
if-
to kill a lion. Never mind, I changed my answer.
What if two guys in the Coliseum were like, "Yes, I want to fight to the death"? Would you watch it then? If both members were like, "I want to do this." This is an extreme
Would I watch
example of like UFC fighting.
I don't know if I
Would you watch it?
I wouldn't vote against it. Like I wouldn't tell those guys they couldn't do it. But I don't
I-
know if I would watch it.
I agree with exactly what you
Yeah.
just said. I don't know if I would either. I would. A
I'd
weird.
watch the start of it.
A really weird.
could turn it off at
I
intermission.
totally couldn't get through everything.
A weird like dark side of me would be curious. It would be like, oh, what's gonna happen?
Yeah.
But then I would think about like the morality, and I'd be like, I can't.
The
watch
games.
Yeah.
What about the
I don't know.
Olympic
That's-
Games?
it. Ooh, okay. You want to talk Olympics?
Remember when people used to run naked? Why don't we bring that back?
Did that happen in the Olympics?
Yeah, when it first started, I bet they were naked.
When was the first Olympics? I'm on it. You
I
guys
don't
talk.
know, like 1400.
Okay, can I get to my question?
What you
I
got?
haven't
What's
asked
up,
a
bro?
single goddamn question.
You haven't?
No, I haven't
No,
because
be
Blake's
more
over.
assertive.
Well,
Guys,
I've tried to. Blake
I
stole
got
my
another
yard
question.
games.
I
Mine
got
was
another
gonna
question.
Stop. Jesus. I'm gonna kill you, dude. God. But yeah.
I'm not trying to be right now. I just a little side note. First Olympics,
Hey, buddy, shut up,
1896.
dude.
Wow, I was way off.
So my question, finally, Jesus, it's been like an hour and
just
I haven't
love
even
me.
gotten one in.
Just love
This
me.
is my
Okay.
favorite podcast so far because of that.
Favorite outdoor game, specifically in the night as a kid.
Oh, this is a good question.
Hitting lightning
Yeah.
bugs with my wiffle ball bat.
That was your game?
Yeah, I made it up.
That's
It's called Hit the Lightning Bugs with Your Wiffle Ball Bat.
Oh, good one, dude.
I loved it.
Okay.
It was Ghosts in the Graveyard.
Yeah!
Dude, that was a good one.
Ghosts in the Graveyard. That was the best.
Dude, flashlight tag.
Dude, that's also a really
My
good
neighborhood
That might be
was-
better.
The same thing.
That's,
Yeah.
They're like one in the same.
My neighborhood, I don't know about you guys, but my neighbors did not care. So I had
Well, tell the audience about the game.
flashlight tag. If you played hide and go seek, it's the same concept, except if you're you have a flashlight. And instead of like running up to them and spotting them, you have a flashlight. When you have flashed that light on that person, they are now it. Yeah. Flashlight tag 101. There you go. Got it.
Speaking of
Nice.
flashlight
Nicely
tag,
said.
you guys remember Kick the Can at BT?
Dude,
Yes, I was
just
about to
thinking
say
about
that.
Shouts
damn
to
it.
BT.
I was
But-
just thinking about that. Shout out to BT, dude.
Yes.
That was a good time. We all wanted to play this game when we were older. Like, this is definitely a kid's game, but in high school, all of us were like, let's play at this guy's house we know. And so we all went and played Kick the Can. Kick the Can is basically same thing as flashlight tag, same thing as Ghosts in the Graveyard. These are just different names.
Little different variations to each game, essentially.
Yeah, just tiny ones. Like in Kick the Can, you don't have a flashlight. Do you have a flashlight?
No,
No,
there's
you don't
one
have a
person
flashlight.
and everyone else is like together.
Basically, in Kick the Can, you get a soda can, you put it down, everyone hides, one person's it. The one person is going around finding the people. If he finds you, you're in jail. If one of the people that is not it can muster the courage and be in the shadows and kick the can, like if you make it to the can, you kick the can, you yell, I kicked the f***ing can. Everyone in jail is free, and it starts over again.
Yes.
It's really fun. But if
very
the person that's it finds everyone, then the first person that was found
Yeah.
is now the person that's it.
BT's house was just perfect, just because of his light setup. Like
it was
the
very
light
dark.
setup where
It was
we
dark.
had the can. It was so hard to kick it, and if you kicked it, you felt like a motherfucking baller.
Can I kick it?
Yes, you can.
Thanks.
Okay, Trab. Shout
Um,
out to Fife Dog.
guys, what if in the future VR becomes a giant thing and it's like Ready Player One, Steven Spielberg?
That would be awesome. I mean, I think that's what the future of gaming holds is VR.
What if it's like that though? Like
that would be-
seriously.
I don't know.
What if it's
that
like-
whole concept of Ready Player One would?
What if it's so deep where people have lives inside of a game?
It would be cool.
Would you participate?
Dude,
As
what
long-
if it's so
As long
real?
as I would not die.
You wouldn't die in real life. Like that wouldn't happen. But like, would you devote your actual life to a virtual life?
To where you spent more time in it than regular life?
Would
Well,
you do
if I'm
that?
playing a video game and I'm making a living off of it, yeah, I would do it. But if I'm just doing it to,
It's entertainment purposes only.
okay, yeah, I probably would.
I know
In my
I
free
would.
time.
I would be curious.
But it's like I feel like VR when VR is going to be at its peak. I feel like
You're
am
gonna be
gonna
busy?
yeah, I'm gonna be very busy. Like I'm probably
Pooping
gonna
out
be a
babies?
dad. Yeah.
No, I don't
and-
even. I think VR is gonna peak. Like I think VR is in its infancy right now. Like you know
I don't
how
see it being that big. Like have they mastered it? Yeah, yes and
I
no,
don't think
but
they have.
Not at
even
all.
close.
but
They've just opened it up.
yeah,
No,
it's
I-
like just a thing.
I don't know.
I mean, they've been doing it for over a decade.
I mean,
With,
like
Disney
Oculus and like and HTC Vive, like all those are like cutting edge right now. But I think like PSVR and all that, I think PSVR and Oculus is to the NES, like how the NES was when
Right,
it
we're
first came
just
out.
kind
That's
of
like
getting
exactly
started.
what this just is.
Like, there's
So,
gotta
like-
be way more. Like, think about how real regular life is. Like,
Yeah.
eventually people will just learn all the different sensations and sensory experiences that people go through to, like, be able to mimic that in a virtual world. Like, how far are we going to go?
I got a
Like, are
would
we
you
going to
rather.
be able to, like,
I got a would you rather.
scan pictures of ourselves and like make an exact replica of ourselves to literally have like an alternate life? Are we gonna be able to like take
Maybe.
pictures of other people and
Maybe.
like have characters and live in an alternate reality?
Just to
Where-
answer my own question before we go on another tangent, I would probably buy one of these things because I'm
like The Sims or something.
by the
like a real-life Sims?
time these are going, let's say it's like 25 years from now, the VR is like up and running like PS4s are right now and stuff. I'll probably buy one. I'll be curious enough, but it's gonna scare me because it's gonna be like this is like I could see myself getting like addicted to it
Yeah.
and like wanting to do it.
more so than games now. Yeah,
Yeah.
VR is weird though.
it's disorienting.
Yeah, that's
Now it
that,
is.
That is
Right now it is.
the thing that just. Whew,
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Okay, guys, here's the would you rather. Let's say we're 25 years in the future. VR is like a very staple thing. It's very real. And people all around the world are participating. But here's the catch. To make the game so real, you have to pay for an operation. They put a chip in your head. Do you do it?
I'm not going to say that I wouldn't do it, and that's only because I think that those kind of implantations are going to happen sooner than we
They
think.
are. It's gonna
I think
happen,
there's going to
dude.
be like those like Google glasses that can like show you stuff. You can like look at stuff. I think there's going to be a chip that you're going to be able to install into your temple.
It's a matter
It's
of
going to be
time.
able to It's going to be able to project right in front of your eyes at a comfortable viewing distance, like all these kind of like statistics of like your health,
That sounds
of anything
insane.
you're thinking of. It's gonna like tap into your brain, and you're gonna be able to like Google search with your mind. Not even you move your fingers.
It's
You're
just a
gonna be
matter
able
of
to, like,
time.
what's this recipe? And you're gonna be able to like see it projected in front of you. I think that's what we're coming to.
Technology is already
I'll give it
like
15 years.
technology is already teasing this. Like we got watches.
I hope it doesn't get there though, because that's like
Oh,
That
it's go-
sounds
it's
silly.
going to.
not
They will.
using the human mind at all.
It's going
Cyborgs are
to.
coming, dude.
It's going
Wally.
I mean, yeah.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying like right now I feel like they're testing the waters. We got the like Apple Watches on our wrists. We got Google glasses around our eyes. Everything's like it's like you're on a date with your girl and you're like trying to like
What if the
put
government
moves-
gets involved?
Well,
Put some move.
that's the whole entire thing.
But
if
eventually
the government gets involved, I feel like
I mean that's like
The-
that's like 18 that's like what's that book? I'm drawing a blank right now.
1984.
There you go.
Spark noted it.
Yeah.
Don't remember.
I don't know. If the government gets involved, it's like, what is a
Like
human
where do you
right?
draw the line?
Yeah, because if it gets to that point, that's sad for humanity.
I mean,
'cause-
it's always going to be a choice. Like, I feel like humanity is well developed enough now where it's never going to be mandated, you know, unless it ends up being, but, well,
This is a whole
This is.
nother
Okay,
can.
this is.
Folks, we're
Yeah.
gonna stop right there.
Maybe we'll
What
get
else?
into
What?
another
Yeah.
one.
What the?
I mean, eventually they're teasing the outside of our body. They're going to go in sometime, but it's going to be a
They're
choice.
coming in. They've been teasing.
It's going to be like, hey, we have this. You can buy it if you want. It's awesome.
yeah, I don't know.
Games.
Games, yeah.
Do you love me? Are you playing a love game with me?
All right, guys. I have another question about games.
Wait, Blake, you have asked like three questions.
All right.
Let me end. Here's my question: do you guys like mind games?
No.
I don't like them.
All right. Well, thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed, and thanks for hanging out with Trithegoulash. We'll see you next week. Goodbye. Farewell. See you later.
Love you.